he had resigned, or did we lose out on a teachable moment?
Him resigning from that does nothing for his educational standpoint. It does nothing from a standpoint of protecting what he was signed up to do. Would you say that, is there a need, or like better yet, like now more than ever, for the LGBTQ plus community to like have a self-defense training?
When it comes to the LGBTQ plus community, they are in danger. Everybody's in danger at some point. If we can train one person, that one person is going to go back to their families.
And also with the active shooter and doing it for your employees, that's great. But why not also open it up to your patrons and your
And we are recording live here in Ybor City in the event space at Bulge. 2 snaps and a bulge. That's for Ivan. He's sick today. So, all right, we have a lot to get to before talking to our special guests this week, Brian and Jamie Anderson of Weapon Brand Self-Defense and more. I want to talk to them a little bit more because we have a lot of things going on with attacks going on with with our community. But let's get to what happened on social media in Tampa. Tampa Pride Secretary Mark Bias, aka Teacup, husband of Tampa Pride's President Kerry West, resigns after backlash over a social media post on his Facebook page that has been since removed. Some of what he said was, "How do I feel about women on stage doing drag? I think it should be called fake drag." Now, before this, he was referencing the Shakespearean tradition of having young men playing female roles. Now, Tampa Pride released a statement earlier in the day on Monday, trying to distance themselves from the post. And after hours of social media backlash, Tampa Pride then announced that Marks has resigned from the board. So I kind of want to ask you guys, because after he was resigned, do you think this is what should have happened? Should he had resigned, or do we lose out on a teachable moment?
I mean, in this situation, he spoke about something without proper context, and I think at any rate, we always have to take into consideration somebody's text versus somebody's voice. We can't get a joke or things don't emulate correctly, is what I'll say, through instant messenger or like posting and things like that. So I always take seeing things like this with a grain of salt, but it was the word choice and the kind of way he punned the ending of it, it rubbed wrongly. And so I think in an essence, like, he has to take some accountability for it and he has to actually do it. Now, I'm okay with going either way. If that's how you feel and you want to stand on it and puff out your chest and say, this is truly how I feel, I don't see it, I don't like it, it's not for me, that's fine. Stand up and say that. Right. Or issue an apology saying, I messed up, I misworded myself, or better yet, apologize and acknowledge your actions and, bear yourself for the consequences, however you want to see it. Any one of those three would have been better than what he did. He actually was allowed to hide behind Tampa Pride's posts and their decision making. And even though he resigned from the position, he did not issue a statement whatsoever. Not an apology, I was misinterpreted. Even though he's telling people he was misinterpreted, it's not what he's not saying it publicly. And so
it's not his words.
But the resignation makes you feel like you're doing the wrong thing, right? So at the end of the day, the reality is that he did this and they backed him on that when they allowed it to happen, but we did miss out on a very teachable moment. This was a moment for him to take action. He actually works for a bar that does drag shows that are super inclusive, that do have female entertainers that are naturally biological women, and he totally disavows that. He totally threw that in the garbage and got to walk away with it. And losing that job is nothing because at the end of the day, remember, that position is not a paid position. That's a position that he does voluntarily. So he's not, normally when you fire somebody or you get somebody fired, whatever you want to call it, they're losing something. They're losing their benefits, they're losing their pay, their income, they're losing something in return to that. Him resigning from that does nothing for his educational standpoint. It does nothing from a standpoint of protecting what he was signed up to do. He worked for a Tampa Pride community, meaning he's supposed to be a steadfast example of acceptance in a business that's all about inclusion. It's literally a nonprofit based on those values. So you just walk away from all that for how many years you've worked with not one word? That's a little odd to me.
I mean, I kind of have to agree with that because I kind of feel that we did lose a teachable moment. You know what I mean? Because like, it's not oftentimes that. It's kind of like me coming to head with my sobriety. You know, there is a lot of shit that I've done in my life that I have to apologize for, making amends. You know, and I think that's what the community missed from him, was making amends for what he had to say. Because if he's a part of Tampa Pride and he's on the board, that means he's seeing all the performers, or should be seeing all the performers that are being out here. We have we have Fatalia. She's non-binary. I mean, they are non-binary. See, even I'm learning everything every day. So it's not. It's okay to say I made a mistake. You know,
Right.
It's the one thing that I think that he could have kept his job was if he did come and said, "Hey, look, you know what? I said that most people that are doing drag, because then that would have to say." One thing I wanted to say that it kind of made me want to question about trans women. You know, if he says that only, you know, men dressing up as women is drag, then what does that say about all the trans girls that have come, you know, in the years that he's been here for, like, I don't know, over 20 years? You know, what's to say, what does he think about them? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you open up
Yeah.
that can of worms, it almost proceeds into like, is he unwilling to learn about something like that? Is he transphobic? Almost. I almost wanted to say that, you know?
Right. I
like-
mean, at least it opens a can of worms into the concept that, and to preface that, like
Sorry, it took me a way to get there.
No. It's fine. I think when it comes to that question, I don't believe it's either side, because to pull the wire that far to the extreme left means you have to also pull it to the other side, meaning that he doesn't see them as women. You know
Right.
what I mean? Or
That's
he
what I
doesn't,
was- that's
or he
what
doesn't
I
see them, or
almost-
he considers them fully women, so he doesn't understand why they're performing. And like once you have that transition, like you no longer exist in this world. So like it's kind of a double-edged sword, but I think that that's too far removed from the meat and the potatoes of what this is really about.
Right.
He made this statement in reference to biological women, not trans women. So
Right.
people who take that mindset and you see the word women and then automatically do that thing that we love nowadays, which is the inclusion of trans women. This is not about trans women. This was an attack on biological women. This was an attack on entertainers who are born female who love the idea of performing. But in the same way that we had great actors like Robin Williams and Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo, all of these men, there's other ones who did like the movie Tootsie and stuff like that. I can't think of everybody. In that same hand, we've had females dress up as men as well. Amanda Bynes, you had Connie and Carla was a wonderful movie about two women who are hiding in the mafia, trying to be as far away removed from the world, and they go become drag queens. And they pretend to be men, they pretend to be women, and it's a whole freaking funny thing. And so women have been doing this as well. It's not the first time, it's not the last time. I've seen it on SNL, I've seen it on Nickelodeon skits. Like, it's not unheard of for this to be a part of acting. Acting is
Right.
something that is done on stages and Broadways and movies and plays, and this is no different. And so you're taking something that's supposed to be an art form, and art has no gender, art has no, it's completely malleable. It can be anything, right? So no one looks at a Picasso and says that's male or female, right? This is the same thing. These people are presenting a form of art in a certain manner, and it's about the entertainment value. So he's attacking women who want to be a part of this, and drag has opened up and included itself to all people
And
of all walks
especially
of
in a
life.
day and age where we're talking about women don't get as paid as much as men, you know what I mean? And we have a lot of lesbian women in our community saying that they're not being represented as much as other people. And he basically just said, you know, like, fuck you guys, you know? So, I mean,
For lack of a better term.
and it's almost, I don't even want to go into this, but like he's on True Tea, I don't want to go into that. But I hope he comes on that show and says something about it, you know, and make amends with the community, because I don't think someone that done so much for the community should just be thrown away. But at the same time, we have to be adults about things, and we have to say that, you know what, I hurt you, I apologize, let me learn something from you. And you know, with that, I think we ran out of time. Let's go and come back.
Hey everybody, this is Dave with Tampa Bay Gay. We're here at Bulge Apparel and Gifts in Ybor City. It's a great place for yourself to find gifts for the holidays, but also your friends and family. There's a lot of huge selection around here, so come on and check it out. So I'm going to check out some stuff while you check out this week's LGBTQ events. At Metro on Tuesday, December 6th at 6 p.m. starts YAS, Young Adult Socials Group, meeting at the Metro Welcome Center. Then on Saturday the 10th at noon is Queer Comic Book Club, also meeting at the Metro Welcome Center in St. Pete. Thursday, December 8th, the Space at Bulge presents December Movie Nights. This week, Polar Express at 4 and The Holiday at 6. Cost is $5. Popcorn and refreshments will be provided. Get tickets now. First 10 to RSVP, get in free. Friday, December 9th is the opening of Dino and Dragons exhibit in Newport Richey. The event features over 100 life-size dinosaurs, dragons, hands-on labs, rides, and more. Tickets start at $20 and are available now. The holidays is a great place to stop to shop for things. You can buy online, you can get gift cards, but PJ has a great space here. So PJ is the owner of Bulge Gifts. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your space here?
Sure. The event space at Bulge is 1,000 square feet of living room space in the heart of Ybor City. We host private events, birthday parties, we host bachelor parties, but now we're into public events. So we have Babes and Bulges. It's a bi-weekly drag show. And we have movie nights every Thursday in December. We're hosting a holiday movie. And we're expanding into other things.
Awesome. Well, definitely get down here and check this place out. Bulge Apparel and Gifts in Ybor. And check out the space at Bulge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Visit TampaBayGay.com for the latest digital content and events. Also, please like, share, and subscribe.
All right, guys, now more than ever, self-defense is an important life skill to learn, especially for vulnerable communities. For instance, the LGBTQ plus community. Here to talk with us more about it, please welcome from Weapon Brand, Self-Defense, and more, Brian and Jamie Anderson.
Yay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So the first question I kind of wanted to ask you guys, just a little bit about yourselves. Like, can you give us a background and what is Weapon Brand?
Go ahead, Jen.
How much time do we have? So he just doesn't want to admit that when we started this together, he was going through a breakup. And so
It's a little true.
yeah, rub salt in the wound.
Rub a little
But
salt.
we're cousins, by the way. So yeah, everybody thinks we're like
Married.
married
Yeah.
or,
'Cause
but
the
we're
name,
cousins,
yeah.
yeah. And
And her banter.
Yeah.
he
And her picking on me.
yeah. He had come to Florida to visit me and get some saltwater therapy. And I was getting ready to go to a music festival in a few weeks. And he's like, Jame, you live this crazy life. You're always going to these music festivals. You're always out, like, I want to teach you, like, some safety stuff. Have your friends come. So I put it on Facebook, and within 90 minutes, 30 people had responded that they wanted to come because I had put his history on there. He was a Marine, and then he worked for the state of Ohio for over 20 years, and he's done some really crazy jobs throughout his lifetime that, like, most of us could never even imagine. But when they heard his history, they wanted to come. So they came, and they wanted more, and we were like, okay. He was going to do this in Ohio anyways. He has a gym up there, a training academy, and that was kind of being used as a vessel to create this self-defense system.
Right.
But we decided to do it down here. So,
I wonder.
So, Brian, you have a background in, say that, she didn't get into it, but can you get into that a little bit? Like, what is your background?
I took a couple of classes in college. So pretty much my entire life, my military career, my career with the state of Ohio. I mean that was my calling. I feel just to not just to take stuff, not just to teach fighting, things like that in self-defense, but to actually share it with other people. I really felt like I was a pretty good instructor, so I was able to pass that message and really help other people. So. I think James somewhat agrees with that, but that was my background. Just teaching. I was a full-time trainer for the state of Ohio. Did, like Jamie said, did a lot of other weird things.
He won't say it. I always say it because I think it's super cool. But he was a sniper in the Marines.
I just saw that.
Yeah. I mean, who do you know that's a sniper, right? But also, and he says it's not like the movies. I don't believe him, but he was a hostage negotiator
Right.
and a violent fugitive recovery specialist. So
Right.
he like went to find the bad guys, you know,
Oh, I
when they
love
had
it.
escaped. So I think that's pretty cool. As
That's
like
awesome.
some normal person who would never have a job like that. So he
That's-
doesn't like to talk about that.
That's what I was waiting on to hear. But Angelique, I'm gonna throw the next question to you.
Okay, so basically, you know, would you say that, you know, is there a need, or like better yet, like now more than ever, you know, for the LGBTQ plus community to like have a self-defense training, or, you know, do you guys call it a necessity? Would you think that it is a necessary
Yeah,
thing?
I do. I mean, I think everybody needs it, and so many people, you know, we run across, like, you know, the New York people. You know, I'm from New York. I don't need it. You know? We get that.
Guilty.
Oh well, yeah, of course. Oh no.
Guilty, very guilty. I was like, oh, I feel like the spotlight got really hot just now. Oh my gosh, yes, no.
I didn't know you both were from New York.
Oh,
yeah.
no, I lived there for a minute. Like, I feel like there's
But
something
you
in the
know,
water. Yeah.
you know, yeah.
So you know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
get that all the time, and we're like, there's so many misconceptions that you don't know. But just to go back to your question, absolutely, everybody needs it. But right now, there's so, you know, you guys just had a segment earlier about you know, somebody being in the spotlight for drawing negative attention. There's a lot of negative attention right now in the LGBTQ plus community, and it's like, where are they getting any type of training? So that's something that, you know, Jamie and I are very supportive of. We love to share our knowledge, and we're caring. So we care about humans in general. So, you know, with them in the spotlight, that community in the spotlight right now, that draws danger. You know? So if you have somebody that's willing to do it, man, take it. I mean, take classes, absolutely. But to answer your question, yes, I think it is a necessity. I think Jamie agrees.
I think that I have a hard time biting my tongue a lot when people are like, oh, I'm good, or oh, I don't need it from my family, or just don't even think about it. Like, to me, that is being an irresponsible parent. It's being an irresponsible spouse if you're not doing it with your spouse. And I was there, you know, for 40 plus years. I never did anything. I took karate in college. I broke my foot doing that. That was not successful, you know. But I almost think it's irresponsible not to, because it's your life. You have to go home to your family every night. And if you didn't take the precautions to keep yourself safe, then you weren't being a responsible parent.
Right. If something happened and you could look back and have taken something, would you have taken it if something happened? And everybody would say yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would learn something. So it's like, if it's presented to you now, why not take it? And, you know, when it comes to, you know, the LGBTQ plus community, they are in danger. Everybody's in danger at some point. And keep this in mind, that something that we consistently tell all of our clients, all the classes that we teach, the corporations we go to, there's more good people out there than bad.
Right.
It's just, it takes one person.
Right.
That's
Right.
it. It takes one person, one incident. So we're helping everybody protect themselves first. How do you pick out the bad guy before the bad guy does bad guy stuff? And then if you can't avoid it, how do you fight out of it? And we can teach you that.
I love that. Personally, as a sexual assault survivor, I'm one of those people who, when those things happen, that fight or flight, or literally, there's a third one that they say now, that your body
Freeze.
just, you kind of just
freeze.
don't do anything.
Right.
Those different responses are elicited in every situation, and you never know which one is going to be elicited. When I was in the hood, obviously my fight went on. When I got,
You're probably more vigilant.
I say when I got more soft as I moved out of those dangerous kind of environments,
Right.
I became a little bit more flighty. But in the midst of certain situations, everything I learned had went out the window, and I had, you know, that's a part of the blame that I fought with. I was very much like, oh my God, I wish I would have known something else to help me, like, see this before it happened, or a little bit more like aware of my surroundings and be totally up to the charge, you know. So,
And imagine a parent whose child is going through that, or whose teenage daughter or teenage son went through that, and the guilt that they would have that they didn't do anything to teach their children to protect themselves in those types of situations.
Right.
It's I just want to strangle people.
Yeah.
But I can't, because we're here to save people.
And here's the thing, if anything, you know, when we're talking about this, you know, your viewers and listeners, they're going to think automatically, and you know this, Sean, from doing martial arts, everybody always thinks it's a physical thing. And it's like what we
Right.
teach is a physical portion is a pretty good percentage, but we teach so much more on how to recognize it, how to de-escalate it if it starts to happen, things like that. So I think that's just as important as the physical portion, fighting out of it. It's how do you recognize it, and if you do recognize it, then how do you de-escalate that situation so you don't have to get into it? And just what Jamie mentioned, even your kids, like teaching your kids how to de-escalate a situation is huge.
So you would say that's something that would help you promote a more safer like community, like de-escalating situations
Absolutely.
and discipline and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I think that's what you're saying. When it's karate and self-defense, it's much less about physical. It's much more about your mental discipline of
Yes.
recognizing when there's a threat or recognizing when to escalate things. When am I going to hit somebody? Is that something that you guys are helping promote
Yeah.
a safer community?
Absolutely. Yep. That's huge. That's a huge part of our curriculum, actually.
Yeah.
What are some of the courses taught then? Since we've kind of
Yeah.
run through like a little
Yeah.
while of it like that. But what are some of the courses taught? And are there seminars specifically towards things, or situations prevalent to like the general community?
Yeah. Well, you can find a list of all of the classes that we teach. I mean, we probably have 20 plus classes on weaponbrand.com, but some of our most popular ones are self-defense. We have 5 different levels. Our weapons-based classes, firearms classes. So we don't care whether you have a firearm or not. We think that your best weapon is your head and your gut and your hands, not necessarily a firearm.
Yeah.
But if you have one, be trained to use it properly. So our weapons classes are popular. Realtor safety, we work with a lot of realtors because they're going into homes with people that they don't know. Sometimes their showings are late at night. Sometimes the person is more interested in them than the house.
Absolutely.
So we do
Very
a lot with realtors. We go to schools, churches, corporations doing active shooter training, which right now in the LGBTQ plus community, we've been talking to quite a few different organizations about doing some active shooter trainings with their groups that they have or with their friends, their families, because it's really scary.
I think it's really important because I think I saw that on I'm sorry, Angelique. I saw that on your website, active shooter training. What's wrong with my mouth today? That is something that literally every club should be making their employees take because what we're seeing right now is going to happen. Almost as if it's a matter of time. I think that is something very important to do. But Angelique, I think you have the next question, or did we finish answering
and also with the active shooter and doing it for your employees, that's great. But why not also open it up to your
family.
patrons and your
Yeah.
family?
Yeah, your patrons.
Like,
Yeah.
what a better PR opportunity for these clubs to say, we really care about you. We hope that nothing
That's
happens.
a good idea.
We hope that nothing happens, but we can't guarantee it. So come have a drink,
Yeah.
do a training, feel a little bit more empowered that if you're
Yeah.
in that situation, you're going to know what to do.
We'll have sweet gear.
But
Yeah.
if they're doing it in high school, they should be doing it in real life where
Yeah.
it actually kind of matters.
Yeah.
But
You
okay.
can't depend on your 8-year-old kid who has active shooter in their elementary school to protect you in Walmart,
But
But
okay?
we don't. But
But
we
so
as
many parents do that.
Yeah.
They do. They because we never had it.
yeah, I was saying we don't
Yeah,
have that
yeah,
training.
exactly, exactly.
I don't have. I mean, shit. If someone comes in and starts shooting, I don't know what to do. Or a club. I mean, it's not funny, but it's true.
Right,
But,
right.
Yeah. You'll know. We'll be having lots of things coming up for the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And in 2023, so keep an eye out and come tell your friends. We can't do it alone, so we need y'all's help.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
No,
absolutely.
of course. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
I heard you guys talking about de-escalation, but I also feel like any type of training you do also helps with your discipline. So
Yeah.
how would those techniques, impact the community? What would you say? Have you seen it happen, like in any specific community that you've done trainings or anything like that?
So, one thing that Jamie and I try to pass along to us. This is why we got into the whole corporation aspect of it. We can train one person at a time, and the way that we feel is if we can train one person, that one person is going to go back to their family. If we train a family, that family is going to show things in the neighborhood. If we can show a neighborhood, that's going to help a community. So just to answer directly to your question, just the community alone, if it's such, to me, it seems like a tighter knit group than a typical community. So if we start teaching in that community, that spreads throughout the entire neighborhood, throughout the entire community, and
We were just
it helps
talking
everybody.
earlier about how it's a small world. You know,
Yeah.
we've done some radio shows that are more focused towards LGBTQs. We've talked to some nonprofits. We've, talked to some different groups, and it's a very small world. Well, imagine if everybody in that small world is trained, and you
Yeah.
could all help each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing the same techniques or having the same
Yeah.
like training would definitely help if people know what each other is gonna
Yeah.
do. You know,
Yeah.
if
Absolutely.
when I trained for, I have a master's in psychology, and I worked for a mental health institute,
Nice.
and we do a lot of training on how to take down patients safely without harming them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how to do these techniques working as a team, how to
Right,
notify each
right,
other
right.
without actually having to say, grab his arm. You know,
Right,
there's
right.
eye movement,
Yeah.
there's hand movement, there's different things, and you work with these people so much that you actually begin to say things with your face or say things with your body without actually having to use
Know
your
each
words.
other.
Yeah,
Get
so
to
I
know
think
each
it's really cool
Yeah.
because if we were out, if me and John were out,
Yeah.
and something happened and we
You
had
would
to
know.
work as a team,
Yeah, you'd
we
pick it
both
up.
know the
Yep.
technique. We know how to fumble the ball, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so like my next question was like, people like going out, especially in Ybor City, and now in Central Avenue in St. Petersburg. Are there some tips that you can give people as they're going out taking a night on the town? Like, is there some safety tips that you guys could?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we have a smile. But
You're
are there
not
some
gonna-
tips
you're not
that you
gonna
give
like it.
people?
Put your phone away.
Oh yeah.
Just put your phone in your pocket. Find out where you're going. Put your phone in your pocket. We did a family today. They had some break-ins and things like that, and they were nervous. Plus, they were college-aged females, and we explained to them, if you could just leave the club, leave your home, leave the mall, leave the gas station, wherever you're going, and just pause for a quick second and start thinking to yourself, if there was some type of a hungry predator, a hungry tiger in this general area, would you treat that situation the same? Would you walk a little bit differently? Would your chin be up, chest out, and would your eyes be looking? And here's the thing, and if you're looking at people that you're now starting to see that, hey, that would make a good victim for a hungry tiger, just don't be like that person. And maybe tell that person, hey, pick your chin up, put your phone away.
Right.
How many times have you walked out in the parking lot and you've had a phone and you're looking at your phone and forgot where you parked? Never?
My dad is
Couple
a
times.
retired
you
police
said it,
officer, so it's like as you're speaking,
You're
I'm
the,
like,
you're the
there's-
first person we ever met in the history of human beings that said
It's
never.
so
No,
funny.
I'm joking. I'm
Listen,
joking. I'm joking.
It's so funny you use that analogy about the hungry predator because my dad was like, I remember one time when I was younger, my dad was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm getting my phone out before I walk. He's like, you don't need your phone until you get in your car. Go
Right,
walk
yeah.
directly to your car. He's like, do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yeah,
You go,
yeah.
you get in the car,
Yeah.
you lock the door, and then you do whatever it is you think you need to do.
Yes.
And so he used to tell me, he was like, when you're walking outside, like, you have to pay attention. He's like, you're
Yeah,
pretty,
yeah.
you're a little girl. People, it doesn't matter how strong you are or what you've been
Right,
trained
right.
on. He's like, these people will prey on you. He's
They
like,
will.
they'll see you from a
Yeah.
mile away. So you need to be aware. So like when I'm at gas stations at night, because I'm always leaving the bar 2, 3 in the morning from work, I'm like there, I literally will lock my car up so good and walk straight inside with just what I need to go
Yeah.
in and out. I leave my hands available.
Uh-huh.
I make sure that if I have my bag is on my arm and my
Girl,
hands,
with
and I can
them
like,
nails,
like
ain't nobody gonna mess with you.
Listen, it's like it's one of those things that like you have to be
Those
aware.
are
So
your
I love that
weapons.
you said that because it literally reminded me of like when I look at people in certain positions, I'm like, I'm seeing you. You may not see. Like I'm telling people all the time, move over here. Come here, girl. No, stop walking. No,
Right.
come on. And if I have to tell you that, that means that you're not paying attention to what I'm seeing.
Target. Is there another like piece of advice?
I think a really good piece of advice that I never realized until Brian and I started doing these trainings, and I'm learning a lot as we do these trainings. I've only been part of this industry for a year. He's done it his whole life, so I'm still learning constantly. But one of the really big things that I learned was to always look for a secondary exit whenever you're anywhere. So whether you're in a restaurant, whether you're in a bar, if you're in a shopping mall, if you're in a school, if you're in a
Work.
church, work, like know where your exits are, because if somebody comes in there as an active shooter, you don't necessarily always just want to go out the door that you came in.
Right.
So,
Ow. But let me ask you this last question before we run out of time. So like, so how can we find you guys, and what do you hope to leave your clients with? Is it a greater sense of security, or is it more confidence in themselves?
To be a weapon.
So how can we find?
yeah,
love
I
it.
mean, our name Weapon Brand, sometimes people get it wrong and think that it's that we're all about firearms. We're not at all. It's about creating yourself to be your own weapon.
Mhm.
And whether you're fighting, I always say depression, anxiety, a physical illness, a predator, a bully, an attacker, be your own weapon. So whatever it is you're fighting in your life, like you can be your own weapon. And so I would hope that our clients, and I feel like they do when they leave, it's that they're empowered to, one, that they can identify the bad guys, two, if they got in that situation, that they could get themselves out,
Mhm.
and three, that they just feel better and safer going home to their families and taking that message out to their community too.
Spread the word.
So, and you can find us online at weaponbrand.com, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the socials.
All of it.
So
Yeah, we're everywhere.
we travel the
We're
country doing corporate trainings. So if you have a large company and you want us to come in, we'll come in and do self-defense, active shooter trainings. If you have a small group, we'll come to you. If you want a private session, we'll come to you. So
It's awesome for team building. We do some team building stuff.
Yeah.
People, it's something different rather than
Mhm.
just bringing pizza and playing pin and
company
tail and donkey.
retreats
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You guys all learned something, and honestly, like I said, I really, really like that idea of putting that self-defense training to corporate offices, like is more than one person, especially like I said, these
Yeah.
clubs out here, and
Yeah.
your idea, make it for the patrons as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, absolutely.
Now more than ever, we need to be more aware of where we're going and who's around us. But we ran out of time, guys. No.
I know this is. I feel like I could talk to y'all all night. I'm like, I'm
All
sitting
night.
like,
we'll
oh
have
my
to come
gosh, like,
back.
I forgot we were
Yeah,
filming.
yeah.
But I just want to
Love
thank all of our viewers. I want to thank our sponsors, Tampa Bay Gay and Bulge Apparel and Gifts. PJ down there, thank you for having us here. And also as well, like I always like to say, try to have a little bit more common courtesy. We'll see you next time. Follow our podcast page, Common Courtesy TV, here on Facebook and YouTube for more conversations on love, sex, relationships, and commentary on the latest trending news. And listen to us on multiple podcast platforms via commoncourtesytv.buzzsprout.com.